And gentlemen, we are back, and it's time for the Nautique U.S. Open Women's Slalom Finals. We've got 5 ladies getting ready to battle it out in our first skier on the water. From Windermere, Florida, this is your Junior World Overall Champion, Junior Slalom Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Brooke Baldwin is on the water right now. Calling out the shots, Noise of the North, that's me, Daniel the Mano, along with Stevie Collins here. And we talked about some of the young skiers making a name for themselves. Well, a young lady, a freshman in high school, not even in college yet, Brooke Baldwin, our first skier of 5 in this pro women's slalom final. You look at the names that she's going to be matching up with out here: Clementine Lucine, Manon Castard, Regina Jaquez, and Whitney McClintock. Now, in the slalom women final and men's final, it's going to be a little bit different than what we're seeing in the big dog. This is not going to be head-to-head action.
Yeah, slightly different format here between the open skiers and the big dog skiers. So this is just a traditional round. So we're going to see each skier move their way down the line. So Brooke starting out, I believe, at 28 off, making her way down the slalom course. Really awesome style. The way Brooke rides her ski is very, very unique. She stands up right tall over top of it. One of the examples of the future of the sport. We saw earlier competing, we saw Neely Ross and Anna Gay absolutely kill it out on the trick ski. And now another freshman in high school, Brooke Baldwin, out on the water, absolutely killing it on the slalom skis. So the future of slalom skiing, or of skiing in general, is quite bright with a lot of these up-and-coming youngsters.
Well, and in Brooke Baldwin, another one of those skiers who the history, the tradition flows through the blood of this young lady. You know, her mother, Brenda, of course, another very well-decorated skier. Just last year at the 35 and over World Championships, her mother, Brooke, was a part. Brenda was a part of the gold of the winning championship Team USA. So out there, Brooke's definitely training and practicing with the likes of her family. Girls like Anna Gay, girls like Neely Ross, Paige Rini, you know, so many of these young athletes. You call them the future of the sport, the future faces of water ski action, no doubt. Young, these ladies, you know, still just in high school, but you look at the level of their skiing, they are already skiing at the level of what a lot of our Hall of Famers were doing many, many, many moons ago, which took them decades and decades to get to. As we shorten that lineup, guys, boat speed stays a constant 34 miles an hour. And here comes Brooke Baldwin, pass number 2.
32 off, making her way around number 3, out to number 4, making easy work of that pass. You can really see Brooke's technique out there, how effortlessly she turns that ski by standing up nice and tall over it, staying nice and patient, making sure she stays close to the handle in that beautiful, strong position, moving all the way across the course. Really something to watch out there. Her technique is second to none, really.
All right, so she is going to be the one to set the bar here in this women's final with the 5 skiers still to go. To follow her up, Clementine Lucine, Manon Castard, the only lady who we're going to see in all 3 disciplines today, Regina Jaquez, and Whitney McClintock, a fellow countrywoman of yours and a lady that I'm sure you've spent a lot of time skiing with over the past decade and a half or so yourself, Stevie. But it's Brooke Baldwin out there. She just ran that 32 off pass. We're going to shorten that lineup to 35 off for this young up-and-coming superstar. Looking here at who her main coaches are: Kyle Tate, Mark Shaw. Mark Shaw, of course, another one of those big dog skiers had the chance to speak with earlier. But here we are at 35 off right now for Brooke Baldwin. Should be an easy one for her. She is definitely known for getting in to 39 as well and having a little bit of an issue right there. Can you kind of break down what happened?
Yeah, looked, Brooke was in good shape coming out of ball number 2 over to ball 3, just pulled a little bit long, as we talked about with the big dog. That tailwind at her back, giving her a bit of trouble. You see on the replay, little slack around number 2, getting the handle high on the back foot around number 3, not able to get the ski around in time, and just inside that fourth buoy out on the course, just clipping it on the inside. Very, very close, but a great performance. Unbelievable she qualified here. Just a freshman in high school. Round of applause for Brooke Baldwin.
All right, you can hear the crowd going wild. We are going to be watching that young lady for a long, long time as we wait for an official score for Brooke Baldwin. Unofficially, what are you calling? 3 at 30?
Unofficially, I think that's 3 buoys.
So unofficially, 3 at 35 is what the bar is set at right now. Clementine Lucine is coming up next. The French woman is out there on the swim platform, making her return for the 2015 season. Clementine missing out on about 3/4 of 2014 as she was pregnant and carrying her baby around. Of course, now Tia here watching Mom as she gets ready to hit the water here in just a few moments. Joel Howley, please stop up here at the registration area by the announcer's booth, Judges Tower. Joel Howley to the Judges Tower, like right now. Thanks. So Clementine Lucine, we actually saw her trick ski a little bit earlier today. And now, did Clementine also try to qualify through earlier this week for the jump event?
The jump event, Dano, was the one. The women's jump event was the one event I missed this morning, so I didn't get to see if Clem did go out there on the jump skis. I'm not sure, but as you said, earlier last year did have a baby girl, so missed out on that. But she's back in full force. Was out there on the trick ski today. Stood up both her passes, so back in competition form. Her boyfriend Pierre watching on the shore, anxiously waiting. Clem coming back in.
Well, absolutely. You know, Clementine Lucine, you go back through the history books for herself. This young lady has been an overall world champion many, many times. She has been a champion in slalom events as well as trick events. You can never count this lady out or down at all. She's definitely coming back into it now with the baby. I see it with a lot of dads. They call that dad power when the kid's here in the house watching. We'll see if it works out for Clementine, a little mom power to help get her through the course here. Of course, starting off at 28 off should be a simple run here for Clementine Lucine. Been back on the water all summer long, really been training hard to make it back to this level that she is known for. As we get ready, 34 miles an hour, boat speed picking up, 0 off. Is taking control, and Clem Lucine outside that wake, getting ready to go through those start gates. There she goes through the gates, round 1, cranking over number 2, big turn, nice turn at 2, cranking over silky smooth action, and there you go, a nice 4-ball, 1, 2, 3, 4, count it for Clementine Lucine.
Yeah, and as we said, ever evolving, the wind out here is now a factor, Dano. Picked up a bit significant of a tailwind here for our ladies off the dock, so we'll see if that wind plays a factor later on with some of the line lengths some of these girls opt to start at, but Clem opting to go out there at the 28 off line length. Nice, easy warm-up pass for her there. The towboat will stop at the far end, the 200. They will shorten the rope to 32 off, and we will see Clementine Lucine coming back in to the course.
Well, it's the Nautique U.S. Open happening here downtown Orlando, Florida. Our sponsors, SeaDeck, Bud Light Lime. Make sure you guys stop over inside the beer tent. Grab yourself a nice cold one, 21 and up, of course. Springland Manufacturing, the crew from Conley, H.O. O'Brien Skis all in the house. USA Water Skis got a nice little booth set up. Go and say hello to Britt and the crew over there at USA Water Ski. See how you can support. Buy your tickets nice and early for the 2015 USA Water Ski Awards happening this January in Polk County, Florida. We also want to thank Allstate, the crew from Orlando, Dodge, Metro PCS Masterline, the official rope and handle of the 2015 Nautique U.S. Open, touchless boat covers, Soaring H2O, Jeremiah's Italian Ice, Flame and Stone Pizza. I've been munching on my pizza up here in the announcers area. Real good. And, of course, our crew across the way at the Hammered Lamb.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I just got word from our judges, a bit of a situation going on here. We are going to see the young talent of Brooke Baldwin back on the water. A bit of a malfunction with one of the features on the boat after the trick event. The boat was left in trick mode, so Brooke will get a chance to go back out and redo her pass, and then we will see again Clementine Lucine back on the water. So a minor change in action here
it's the one case where you can actually truly blame the boat driver.
Exactly. This one we can blame on the boat driver.
So we got that out of the trick mode. We got it back into slalom mode. Brooke Baldwin can get back out there, get one more shot at it. And then, of course, we'll get Clementine Lucine back out onto the water here. No worries, that'll happen here. So Brooke had that 3 at 35 off, so I'm guessing she's going to start back at 35. Should be interesting to see how it all runs down here. So following the women's open slalom, it's the big dog final 4, which is going to be 3 rounds of action all together in the finals in the big dog final 4, followed up by open men's slalom finals. Super excited about open men's slalom finals. Nate Smith, Freddie Winter, Will Asher, Joel Howley. Throughout this season, these are names you'd expect to see in the final. But one name that's kind of new to the final for this season, Corey Vaughn.
Yeah, absolutely great skiing by Corey in the preliminary round, getting 3 1/4 buoys at 41 off. Actually threw his body out around number 3. Was in no business to get around number 4, but actually sacrificed his body, taking quite a horrific crash actually into ball 4, but cut that ski out for that 1/4 buoy and ended up getting himself in a runoff with Casey Wilson and did come out on top in that runoff and qualified for the final. So really awesome skiing from Corey Vaughn, and I look forward to seeing him compete here later on.
Well, we'll have to talk about the numbers that were put down in the prelims for pro men here. But let's talk about some of the numbers that we saw for pro women in the preliminary round. I mean, some big results coming out of day number 1 a little bit earlier this week. You know, earning Whitney the top seed spot, just slightly edging out Regina Jaquist, and of course Manon Castard right there. And you talk about the battles that we've been seeing this summer coming out of Whitney, Regina, and Manon Castard. Of course, with Brooke Baldwin and Clementine Lucine out there, you can't count these girls out by any means. You know, I would say that the person with the most on the line right now, it would be that young Brooke Baldwin, the young gun, looking to show you guys that she belongs right here with the top names in the sport. A little bit of driver error in her run earlier today, so we are going to reset her back at 35 off, and we're going to take her back down. She's back up on the water, guys. There's Brooke Baldwin from right here in the Central Florida area, representing out of Windermere, Florida. And we're looking forward to getting her back up onto the water and back on it through here in just a few moments. You know, we got to thank our media sponsors here on site all day long. Live DJs up in the beer tent, courtesy of our friends from 101.9 amp radio. Of course, Mix 105.1, and of course, Sunny 105.9, my choice to listen to here in Orlando. Brought to us by our friends at CBS Orlando. Thank them for all that they've done for us here at the 2015 Nautique U.S. Open of Water Skiing, presented by Orlando Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. We're going to be rocking it out live on webcast till 5 p.m. tonight. So for those of you watching live webcast, do us a favor, repost the link at the top of your screen. For those of you here on site, send out the tweet, let your friends know we are live at nautique.com. 35 off, 34 miles an hour, coming out cold. Brooke Baldwin, 3-ball over, around the 3-ball over to number 4. Can she make it? There you go. Brooke Baldwin, unofficially 4 buoys at 35 off, and there's that big Brooke Baldwin smile that we've been accustomed to seeing out there. Look at this. Definitely in way better control. Definitely keeping a tighter line here in her second attempt at 35 off today. Brooke Baldwin making it look silky smooth and oh so easy.
So just got word, Daniel, that was actually 32 off there for Brooke Baldwin. With it being a re-ride, she did get a chance to go out there and rerun that 32 off pass again. Now remember, because she was at a disadvantage earlier on with that re-ride, the score she got earlier is a protected score, so she can do no worse than she did in that first round at 35 off, but getting a chance to actually go out there and redo her whole round as she was at a disadvantage there in the first attempt.
Advantage, Brooke Baldwin. We'll see how that works out for her here. Obviously, Brooke stoked to be able to get this re-ride here. You almost never see that happen in these events. Everything does have to be perfect there, and of course that was the both judges ruling out there. So here we go. This is 35 off. Her score posted earlier, 3 at 35. Let's see what she does this time. There's a one ball cranking down around number 2. A little bit of a headwind for her around 3 and over to number 4, and that time making the 35 off look way too easy.
Yeah, as I said before, you really get to see Brooke's technique out there. Absolutely smooth. So, correction one last time from the judges. She started that run completely from scratch. So that first pass was 28 off. That there you just saw was 32 off. The pass we will see coming back in the tailwind for Brooke Baldwin will be 35 off. So sorry for any confusion there, but Brooke did redo her pass from the first round. So we saw her 28 off going down. That there, 32 off on the way down, showcasing her absolute perfect technique and poise out on the water, the young freshman from high school, Brooke Baldwin.
All right, well, there it is. No wonder she was making those 35 offs look so easy out there. Of course, guys, we're going to set her back down. Now she's going to finally go for it here as we get ready to bring her back down. That's the beautiful thing about being one of these young skiing athletes here. Definitely not feeling the same fatigue that some of the older skiers are going to be feeling out there. As we get ready, here we go, guys. Her third pass, second attempt, 35 off. Her score earlier, 3 at 35. Let's see if she can meet or match it. There's 2, cranking around the 3 ball. A little chatter over to 4, gets over to 4. Did she get around it?
Looked to me as though she did, Dano. I think that's going to be a full 4 buoys for Brooke Baldwin. Just getting a little bit out of shape there at ball 3. An excellent 1 and 2. Getting a little out of shape at ball 3. Having to pull all the way to ball 4. Let's watch on the replay here. So super tight line at number 1. Great turn over to number 2. Another great turn. Nice timing at 3, but a little bit over the back. Cranked a little hard and got pulled up and had to take that bit of a hit, Dano, of slack out the exit gates, but getting it done, no problem at all for Brooke Baldwin, completing that 35 off pass that she missed on her first attempt there. So that'll be a full 4 buoys for her, and we get to see a chance to see this young American come back and challenge that 38 off pass.
All right, well, she definitely has a personal best of over 2 buoys at 39 and a half off. So 38, I wouldn't say it's going to be a breeze for her, but definitely with 2 less buoys out there, it's going to be a little bit less work than what she's normally used to. But the added pressure, knowing the likes of the skiers ahead of her, Clementine Lucime, Manon Castard, Regina Jaquist, Whitney McClintock. So the young aspiring pro is challenging, contesting the top names in the sport today. And here she is, 38 off. Super short lines for Brooke Baldwin. There you go, round number 1. Cranking it nice and tight over to number 2. A little bit of pull at 2. Can she get around 3? She does get around 3, and I'm not sure if she got back to the gates in time to get a full 3 buoys.
We'll wait for the judge's call on that, Dan. It looked to me as if she did. You can see sometimes the skier pulling all the way to the ball, trying to stick their ski out. The judges there not feeling as though Brooke did get her ski outside that buoy. So in an attempt, Brooke tried her best. She stuck her feet out, tried to go around the buoy and get back to the wakes. The judges feeling, though, as if her ski did not go around the buoy. So officially that will be 2 buoys at 38 off for Brooke Baldwin. Give her a hand. Just a freshman in high school, 15 years of age. Unbelievable skiing out here on Lake Ivanhoe.
Well, and you look at the score, too, at 38 off. It wasn't long ago that score right there could have been a podium finish in a professional women's slalom skiing. Of course, the score's starting to go higher and higher and higher, and I almost have no doubt in my mind that these next 4 ladies are not only going to need to get a full 4 buoys at 38 off, but they are going to need to get a nice taste, maybe even a full pull all four at 39 if they want to get on top of that podium.
Yeah, in our preliminary round, we saw both Whitney McClintock and Regina Jaquist running that 39 off pass. Regina getting half at 41, Whitney with 1. So both those women in a full 6-buoy course in the preliminary round were able to get through that 39 off pass. So here on Lake Ivanhoe, conditions not quite the same, but 2 less buoys. So I have a feeling we're going to see the top 2 ladies battling off at that 41 off line length. But right now, coming up next, we have Clementine Lucine going to be back on the water after seeing an amazing performance from Brooke Baldwin, scoring 2 buoys at 38 off. She's in the lead right now. Clementine going to be looking to best her and put the pressure on those girls coming up behind her.
Well, absolutely, and we mentioned it earlier in when she was going for her ride a little bit earlier. Not only is she competing in slalom, we saw her in the trick final this morning as well. This girl is a well-decorated skier with many championships in jump, slalom, and of course trick, as well as overall world championship titles. She has been on the biggest stages of them all in her great long career as a junior, as a pro. She has done it all. Can she do it again here today after her less than a full year hiatus from competitive water skiing? Of course, carrying and having her little baby girl not too long ago either. I think her little baby was can't be much more than 8 months old or so at this point. So we'll have to see how it all works out. Maybe 11 months. We'll see. We'll have to ask Clem. Maybe we'll get her up here on the microphone a little bit later on in the program. Hopefully get some of the skiers to join us up here, a little commentary as well. So Clementine Lucine going to hop in the water. She's going to shorten that rope up and start back at 28 off here in her final round of action, guys. It's the Pro Women Finals here at the U.S. Open. Well, if you guys haven't stopped at the Nautique booth, bought a raffle ticket for your chance to win a signed official U.S. Open bib signed by all the athletes, make sure you get over there and do so now. Here's Clementine Lucine through 28 off round number 1. Nice turn at 1. Keeping that speed over. Nice turn at number 2. Crank over to number 3 in a round 3 over to number 4. There you go. Picture perfect. Nice run from Clementine Lucine.
Yeah, beautiful skiing out there from Clem. No troubles at all as we watch on the replay. Nice and wide on her gate here. Beautiful technique out there. Smooth on the water. Always stays nice and over top of her ski. Keeping her balance between her front and back foot perfect. Making a nice, easy turn around number 4. And back to the wakes for a full pass there at 28 off.
Absolutely. A true technician. And once again, making it look silky and smooth out there. For those of you guys who want to stay in the conversation through social media, hashtag Nautique, hashtag US Open Ski. Also, guys out there in Webland, you see that bar right above our heads right there? That's right, you see that? Do us a favor. Copy that link right now. Open up your Facebook and paste it as your status and let everybody know that we are going to be on the water here. Beautiful downtown Orlando, Florida, Lake Ivanhoe. The final day of action of the 2015 U.S. Open, live on webcast at nautique.com. Those of you here on site can let the folks in your smartphones know as well. Spread the word, guys. Let's get more eyes on the sport, more eyes on the water, more exposure, get more and more people behind these boats. Here you go, guys. 32 off Clementine Lucine. Check this out.
Yeah, nice turn at number 1. She's got a headwind on this pass for the 32 off, making easy work of it. No troubles at all out and around number 4 and through those exit gates for Clem, really showing her experience out there. As Dano said, most of the women in this finals, if not actually all of the women in these finals, do compete in all 3 of these events. So we saw Clem out there earlier on the trick ski, now competing in the slalom ski, but all of these women in this event do compete in all 3 events. So Brooke, but all these girls do dedicate time to all 3 events. So not just masters on the slalom ski, but on the trick ski and jumpers as well.
Well, and honestly, over the years, you've come to notice with these skiers who compete in all 3 events is just how aware they are on the water. You see how if they have a slight mistake coming around a buoy, they're able to fix it as they cut back to that opposite buoy. the trick ski. It just teaches you so much balance in your water skiing. The jumping, it helps create confidence and awareness out there on the water. And, of course, if you can slalom well, you can do both of those other events I just talked about pretty good. And if you can do all three of those events, you can probably wakeboard, wake surf, maybe, and I'm guaranteeing you could even do a flip on a kneeboard, probably even barefoot.
And then you're Dano the Mano.
That's right, a little bit of everything. That's right. I'm like the all-you-can-eat buffet of towed water sports, my friend. Love it all. Here we go, guys. She loves it all traditionally. Clementine Lucine, 35 off, 34 miles an hour. That handle just on the outside of those turn buoys. Nice turn at 1, big turn at 1. Nice and early over at number 2. Turns the nose of that ski back towards 3. Gets over to 3. Can she get over to number 4? It looked like she did it and got there just a bit fashionably early. Nicely done. 4 buoys, 35 off from Clementine Lucine.
Yeah, as we take a look at the replay, we really get to see how easy Clem made that work, waiting at every ball, arm outstretched, with time to spare at every buoy, just having a baby less than a year ago. Really impressive skiing out there, making easy work of the 35 off pass. No easy task for anyone, and now we're going to see her come back at the 38 off pass. Earlier, we saw the freshman in high school, the 15-year-old Brooke Baldwin, score 2 full buoys here at the 38 off pass. So Clem going to be looking to do at least 2 balls or better. I know for sure looking to run all 4 on this pass, knowing the 3 ladies coming up next, Manon, Regina, and Whitney, all capable of running not only the 38 off pass, but the 39 off pass as well. So she's going to have that on her mind coming into this 38 off pass. Winds died down a little bit on the water. Conditions looking very nice. A little headwind here for Clem on this 38 off pass, so we'll see what she's able to do.
All right, guys. Well, we can hear the engine from PCM Pleasure Craft Marine humming inside that Nautique 200. Here you go, 38 off around number 1. Nice speed, nice turn at number 2 right there from that technician. Clementine Lucine cranking up and over around number 4. And there you go, unofficially, 4 buoys at 38 off from Clementine Lucine. She has got to be stoked with that run. That was picture perfect.
Absolutely. First woman of the day to be through that 38 off pass. Remember the rope just coming 6 inches inside that buoy, so Clem not the tallest skier out there on the water, having to use every inch of her height and power to generate speed across, slingshot herself out and around those buoys, and she was able to make 38 off look effortless behind that 200. So we'll be shortening the rope now to the very, very short 39 and a half off line length, 2 feet shy of the buoys. So great skiing so far here. Just our second woman of the day. 3 more to come after her, and we are already at 39 off here on Lake Ivanhoe. So,
you know, Clementine doesn't quite have the same height advantage that, you know, somebody like Manon Castard or Whitney McClintock have out there. She doesn't have the, you know, the extra couple of inches on those arms or on those legs to use that stretch. So it's all about her technical abilities out there. You've seen it time and time again. Let's see how deep she can get into this 39 off. Starts with these gates around the 1 ball. A lot of slack at 1, but right back behind the boat. Unofficially, we'll call it 1 at 39 off as we wait for an official word from the judges. Big smile on her face from France. Give it up, everybody, for Clementine Lucine. And you can dig that.
So you can see out there a little bit of a tailwind starting to pick up on Clem as she pulled out for her gates. That wind blew her down course a little bit. You can see the rope getting a little bit slack as she turned in for her gate, just generating too much speed going over to number 1 with that tailwind and a bit of slack, but able to hang on and to score that full buoy at 39 off. So that's now the score to beat. Clementine Lucine of France, 1 full buoy at the 39 off length. So coming up next, we're going to have another woman representing France, Manon Castard.
All right, well, we are going to get Manon back out onto the water here. Manon coming off of a big weekend last week in the Collegiate Water Ski National Championships in 2014. She was named Female Collegiate Athlete of the Year at the USA Water Ski Awards. Looking forward to seeing Manon out there on the water. You know, I've actually done a little bit of skiing with Manon myself over the last year, actually here in Orlando. Her and Freddie Winter have been spending a little bit of time over at Jody's Ski School just outside of Orlando, right outside of Kissimmee, Florida. And out there, give me a couple of tips, hints. And talking to her a bit earlier this season, it said this summer she's really focusing on her slalom. As you mentioned before, each and every one of the girls in this final, they do all 3 events. But Manon this year kind of taking a little bit of a break from jumping and trick to really focus on the slalom. We saw her in the head-to-head final at the Masters, or we saw her in the final at the Masters earlier this summer. It was her and Regina Jaquist, and what a battle it was. And then continuing to press through the rest of the season, it just seems to be quite the battle between Manon Costard, Regina Jaquist, and Whitney McClintock. So as we see, they are the top 3 seeded skiers coming into this final. Things are certainly getting set to put down an interesting afternoon for us.
Absolutely. Clem going out there just a moment ago, scoring that full buoy there at 39. So that is the mark to beat right now that Manon is going to be shooting for. But she knows she's going to need to do better than that with the likes of Regina Jaquist and Whitney McClintock coming out behind her. So we're going to see some great skiing from the young lady from France.
Well, absolutely. You know, Manon also, you know, capable in competition. We've seen her get as deep as 5 buoys at 39 off. You know, my guess is that in practice she's probably had a taste of 41 off. And with this being a 4-buoy course, there's a good chance that we may even see Manon going for that 41 off pass here today. Looks like there may have been a buoy, may have possibly got run over by a skier out there. So John Travers and the crew out there fixing it up. I think, is that Zach Warden in the water?
Looks like Zach. Everybody, I'd like you guys to put your hands together and give a round of applause for both John and Zach and Chris Travers in the boat. They've set everything up you see on the water. Both guys did compete yesterday and on Thursday in the preliminary round. So both guys competing and dedicate time to training, but also to setting up all these events. So it's really cool to see 2 competitors out there swimming on the water. Give it up again for John and Zach Warden.
Woo! Zach Warden, of course, the president of the Reams Road Rippers, a small little secret ski club that happens here in Orlando, Florida. But that's all I can talk about.
The first rule about ski club is you don't talk about ski club.
That is the first rule and the second rule. All right, guys. Well, it is our pro women's slalom final here at the Nautique U.S. Open. Getting ready to hit the waters. Our 3rd skier off the dock in the top 3 seeded skier in this final, France's Manon Costard, current European slalom record holder and European slalom champion, collegiate slalom champion as well. As we get ready to get her out there on the water, the course has been reset. Everything looks to be perfect. A little bit of a wind right now, a crosswind going through the site. A little bit of texture out there on the water, but it looks like the texture kind of starts right where the course ends, or on the opposite side of the course. So from here, everything looks to be perfect for us, but you never know. Being a skier yourself, as a skier myself, things can look good, but you get out there on the water, it could be a bit more rolly than what you were expecting out there. Of course, this being an open site, this is public waters out here. This lake is not closed. People could be out here if they wanted to, you know, in their pleasure boats, you're just hanging out. Of course, rogue waves could be coming through the course. We keep our fingers crossed that these skiers, these athletes, get the best possible conditions out there. But when it comes down to it, you always got to leave it up to Mother Nature and, of course, the locals out here. The first 2 days of the event were, of course, run at some of the most pristine, premier sites, Nautique ski schools here just outside of Orlando, here in Central Florida. So they had the great opportunity. But, of course, to get in front of this many people, to be in front of this platform, to have this kind of a landscape with the downtown in the background for these skiers, these athletes, of course, sometimes you have to sacrifice amazing conditions. Luckily for us, we rolled the dice. would I consider these amazing conditions? If this was a show ski tournament, maybe. But it's not. It's a 3-event tournament, and so on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst conditions of all, 10 being the best, I'd have to give this site right now probably about an 8, 8.5 or so. I don't know if you'd agree or not, Stevie.
Yeah, it's looking absolutely great out there. The wind has been playing with us a little bit, picking up and down, kind of changing direction right now, looking to be a bit of a crosswind, Dano. So all these skiers, very experienced, know how to deal with the wind, know how to play with the wind in different directions and different strengths. So we're going to keep an eye on that and the changing conditions. But right now, as we look out on the water, gorgeous conditions. Like I said, a slight crosswind out there blowing from where I'm at across the lake. So Manon is going to be paying attention to that while she's out on the water. But we will see her in a second. The boat just doing a simulation pass to make sure everything is even. So the time between a boat going through the course and when Manon starts is equal for all the competitors. So we're just going to wait for that time to run down, and Manon will hop in the water, head down to the far end of the lake, and we will get a chance to see her at 28 off in just a second.
Well, that's right. Season, no doubt about it. You think about this year already for Manon, with the 3-event season kind of starting to come to a close. World Championships only a few weeks away from right now, but no doubt there aren't hundreds of traditional 3-event tournaments going on throughout the season, but the ones that there are going on worldwide, nationwide, Manon's at each and every one of those. Not only that, but she's also skiing and competing at all of the collegiate events as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Manon hasn't had a weekend off in a few months.
Yeah, absolutely. All these skiers stay busy, especially this time of year. As you said, the World Championships coming up, so I know a lot of these skiers focused on that as well. But this event, the U.S. Open, an equally important event. So with the World Championships coming up, there's a good chance we are getting a preview right now of what we are about to see in Mexico in a few weeks at the World Championships with the likes of Manon Costard, Regina Jaquist, and Whitney McClintock all competing out here on the water for us today.
Well, there she is, guys. European slalom record holder, European slalom champion, collegiate slalom champion, 24 years young, Manon Costard on the water right now. What a season it's been. You rewind the clock to the Masters with a second place, a runner-up finish. Since then, we saw at the Tuscaloosa Pro as well as the Milwaukee Open earlier this summer, where she had some pretty solid showings as well. Can she make it happen out here? The one thing that I can truly appreciate about Manon is she's one of those skiers who can truly adapt to adverse conditions on the water.
Absolutely. You'll see that with a lot of our top-level skiers. That's the mark of a great skier, is someone who's able to push through that adversity, push through those rollers and the wind, and still get it done time and time again. Really the mark of a great champion. So Manon going to go out there. Wind, as I said, a bit of a crosswind across the course, so something to look out for as Manon comes into the course here. Electing to start a little bit shorter than our first two skiers, starting at the 32 off line length. Here comes Manon Costard into the course. A nice turn at number 1 over to number 2. A bit taller than our other athletes, too. You see Manon really stretching out, using her height a little over the tail of the ski at number 3. But able to settle down there at number 4, making easy work of that 32 off pass, and we're going to see the boat shorten the rope, and she will come back in at 35 off.
All right, well, as I watch this instant replay, Manon Costard, as she cuts around that 2 ball and back over here, when you look at this 4 ball, what I find so impressive is how she's able to keep the tip of her ski so flat on the water there. And I think that's what helps Manon generate so much speed buoy to buoy, and which allows her to be nice and early, well, on this course as she came around the number 2 ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Great turn at number 2. You really see on that side, she's very, very strong, very, very confident. Normally on a 6-buoy course, getting 1 extra turnover on that side. Here on Lake Ivanhoe, we've shortened up the traditional 6-buoy course to just 4 buoys. So really only one of those 2-4 turns for Manon to really make things up. But But you're absolutely right, Dano. Just great technique in there on that side, using all of her height, keeping her weight over the tip of the ski, generating a ton of angle as she goes across the wake, and earning herself lots of time out there for those turns on 1, 3, and 5.
You know, even though she's 24 years old and it sounds so young, she's been skiing since she was 3 years old. She's a veteran. She's well decorated. She knows what she needs to do. Opting to bump the line length down a bit here, which means this time she is coming through at 35 off right now as she sets down the course. The wind is shifted just a little bit. Watching it here on site right now, looking at the whip flags, it's a mix between a crosswind and on that particular pass right there, a slight headwind for Manon Costard. But wind-wise, I just don't think that it's enough to really affect these skiers at this moment from where we're sitting, of course, but things could be quite different out there on the water.
Yeah, conditions looking pretty good there. I know as Manon came into the course on her gate there, pulling out a little bit late, getting quite a bit of slack rope actually as she turned in on the gate, coming through the gate very close to that left-hand side, leaving it quite late. Making tough work for herself to get through that 35 off pass, and she was able to settle right down after having that bit of a hard start, bit of a late start, got back into the rhythm at ball 2. Like you said, that fierce 2-4 turn that she has, able to get back into it, settle down for 3 and 4, and able to make a successful 4 buoys there at 35, and we'll see her come back at 38 off.
Well, Manon Costard going to put that 35 off pass behind her, guys, and it's time to focus at 38. 38 off. The handle is now slightly on the inside of those turn balls, just under 6 inches onto the inside, which means she will have to stretch that long body out. Let's see if she can pull it off right here. Nice 1-ball turn over to number 2. Nice and early at number 2. Cranking it, getting on the speed around number 3. Turning it 3 and cranking it out there. And wow, very exciting action right there, but having some issues at the 3-ball there. As we wait for an official word, let's kind of break down what happened on her run.
Great turn there at ball 1. Kind of got a little bit back, a little narrow at ball 2, so she had a delay. Gutted it out to get her ski out to number 3. Actually had a hard turn at number 3, but was bit down course and not quite able to get her ski out and around that 4th ball. So an unofficial 3 buoys for Manon Costard out there at 38 off. Unbelievable skiing. A gutsy attempt after that bit of trouble at ball 2 to get the tip of the ski back down across the course, out and around number 3, and was just mere millimeters away from getting her ski around that 4th buoy. So a great effort out there from Manon Costard, scoring 3 buoys at 38 off.
All right, well, we are looking down at the dockside area. Our final skier, Whitney McClintock, getting stretched out, warmed up. But we have one athlete left to go before we see Whitney. She is the only athlete today competing in all 3 disciplines. No other skier today was able to make it into the trick, slalom, and jump final. She is your current slalom world record holder. Ladies and gentlemen, doing it for Good Skis, doing it for Hungry Boards SUP from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, representing Pico Ski School. Give it up for Regina Jaquez.
So like Manon, Regina deciding to come out at the 32 off rope length. The athletes do have a choice, Dano, at what line length they'd like to start at. So using things like fatigue and wind as a factor, determining what speed they're going to start at. 32 off, a little bit shorter than we saw the first 2 competitors, but it will be easy work for Regina to get through. A nice walk in the park, warm-up pass for her as she makes her way down the line.
Well, and at the end of the day here for Regina, you know, you can't forget that she still has one more event left to go. So the name of her game here is to conserve as much energy as possible as she can here today. So that one less pass, you know, going to give her just that extra momentum moving into the later events here throughout the day. We'll see how that works out for her, guys. Well decorated in all 3 events, slalom, trick, and jump. Past overall world champion as well, current slalom world record holder with what I believe is 2 1/4 buoys. maybe 3 1/4. We'll have to look in her bio sheet here. But like you said, Regina Jaquist, 32 off, should be an easy pass for her as she cranks down. So much speed. You're watching it live on the webcast. The cameraman having trouble staying with her on that one. Regina, 32 off, making it look silky smooth, way too easy. The Santa Rosa Beach, Florida native. I know her sister Renee watching live through the webcast. Mom and Dad hanging out in the crowd out there. The entire crew from the pharmacy watching up in Santa Rosa Beach. Joe Strauss and the gang. The whole crew over at Pico Ski School. All of our sponsors out there in Tennessee. Regina Jaquist rocking it out there. 32 off, no doubt. Some exciting action going down on the water right now. We're going to pick her back up, shorten that line 3 feet off that rope. It's going to be 35 off for Regina Jaquist as she gets ready to come on through in just one moment. So it's actually a world record of 3 1/4 buoys at 41 off is Regina's PB, personal best in contest, world record as well. This should be a lot of fun here. Will Regina be the first to make it into that 41 today? Well, only time will tell. This is 35 off. Regina Jaquist setting herself up through the course. Through those gates around number 1. Holding that speed, cranking to number 2. 2 ball over to 3. And over and around number 4. Wow. Making that 35 off look like my 15. Ladies and gentlemen, Regina Jaquist, so silky, so smooth, way too easy. An absolute athlete out there on the water. Dig that.
Yeah, when Regina's out there, you really get to see how strong she is out on the water. It doesn't matter if she takes a hit of slack, if she's late, if she's early. She gets that ski pointed across the course, wills herself from buoy to buoy. Sometimes I'm not sure how she does it, but always able to seems to get herself out and around those buoys. The women's world record holder, women's world champion, just an unbelievable competitor. You really see it in her out there. If she gets in a little bit of trouble, she stays very calm, gets very, very fierce, bears down and gets it done. So great skiing out there for Regina, running that 35 off. We're going to shorten the rope to 38 off for Regina.
All right, well, let me break it down as we sit right now. In first place with 1 buoy at 39 off, it's Clementine Lucine. In second place as we set right now, Manon Castard with 3 at 38. And on the bubble with 2 at 38 is Brooke Baldwin. Right here's where it all comes down to. Regina Jaquist, 38 off, around that 1 ball. Nicely done, putting on the brakes. She comes over and around into the 2 under number 3, cranking it so much speed. Buoy to buoy. Regina Jaquist, 4 buoys at 38 off, currently putting her into second position as we get ready to shorten that lineup, bumping Manon Castard onto the bubble and putting Brooke Baldwin currently in 4th place. 5 skiers altogether in this women finals for pro slalom. Coming up next after the pro women division, it's going to be the Nautique Big Dog Final 4 presented by O'Brien. We'll bring Pete Surrett back up to the announcers area to chat a little bit more about what's been going on over at O'Brien. From there, it's going to be the Open Men's Slalom Finals, and we cap off our day with the main event, Open Women and Men Jump Finals.
I can't wait for that.
No, and I don't think anybody can. And as the day continues to push on, more and more people gathering around the shorelines of Lake Ivanhoe here in downtown Orlando, Florida, Central Florida. For those of you guys watching live on webcast, we are literally 15 minutes down the road from Disney World. That's right, it's Disney, baby. Here we go, check this out. Regina Jaquist, 39 and a half off. Round number 1, cranks over to number 2. Can she do it? Nicely done, over to 3. Turning that nose over ski into number 4. Wow, that's going to be an interesting one, to say the least, Stevie. You know, watching her out there, it looked like she was scrapping for each and every single ball out there. Nice big turn at 1. Nice turn at number 2. Over here at number 3, you're looking at that instant replay, staying strong. I take it back. She wasn't scrapping for a thing. She had that in full control the entire time. Another strong 4 buoys from Regina Jaquist.
Yeah, you really see on that pass how physically strong Regina is. When she needs to, she can throw the hammer down, slam that ski across the course, and make up massive amounts of distance. So even after getting that delay at number 4, pulling over to number 3, she just slammed that ski around over to number 4, and is our first woman of the day to complete that 39 off pass. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to see the women's world record holder coming back on the lake at the women's world record pass. So, Regina has run 3 1/4 buoys at this pass previously for the women's world record. So, eyes out on Lake Ivanhoe, the women's world slalom record holder out at the women's world slalom line, 41 off. She pulls out wide for the gate here on Lake Ivanhoe. Let's see what she can do. Nice gate, nice turn at number 1, getting in deep, little bit of a tip rise, gets the ski out to number 2, absolutely throwing herself out there, risking her body and her ankles to get that extra bit. We will wait for the judges to see whether they score her a half or a quarter ball. But that quarter buoy where she threw it out right there was to put pressure on this next young lady. Hailing from Canada, the girl who got me into water skiing, this is Whitney McClintock. So Whitney, like Regina, one of the women in this competition who did run 39 off in the qualifier out at Jack Travers on Thursday. That was with a traditional 6-buoy course. So Whitney, like Regina, capable of running this 39 off pass, has done it dozens of times before, Dano. So seeing that amazing performance out there from Regina, I'm sure motivated Whitney. She's about to get on the water, ready to make her pass out on Lake Ivanhoe for us. Let's make some noise. Let's get her pumped up. Let's see if we can get another woman through that 39 off pass.
All right, and there is no doubt about Whitney McClintock, of course, does it behind that Ski Nautique 200, the official towboat of many of the top skiers on the Nautique Pro team. The innovative Ski Nautique 200 available in open or closed bow. It's the ultimate 3-event tournament ski boat. To learn more, it's nautique.com or check them out here on site. Ladies and gentlemen, she is a Canadian national slalom record holder, your two-time world slalom champion from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, Whitney McClintock.
Like we saw some of the younger athletes on the water, Whitney has been out there competing on the pro level since she was a teenager. I believe competing in her first world championships at around 13 years old. So although she's only 25 years of age, 26 years of age, she is a veteran out there on the water, run countless 39 offs, the Canadian record holder with 2 buoys at the 41 off. So seeing Regina there, the judges did award her 1.5 buoys at the very short 41 off line length. With just 1 skier left, Whitney McClintock, she is more than capable, Dano, has done it before, run a full 2 buoys at the 41 off, but she is going to need every bit of her personal best and tie that Canadian record in order to go home our U.S. Open champion. So eyes on the water for 26-year-old Canadian Whitney McClintock, up on the water, 32 off, first pass.
And another one of those skiers, you know, tradition runs through the blood of this young lady. The McClintock name hosts so many titles, from her parents to her cousins, her aunts, to her uncles. They have all done it, including her brother as well. Well-decorated skiers. They have been in the game for decade after decade after decade. This should be an easy first pass here for Whitney McClintock. 2 at 41 off is her personal tournament best here, past Canadian record holder. And there you go, getting all 4 buoys as we wait for an official score for Whitney McClintock.
Really showcasing all that technique out there, working day in and day out with Matt Reaney, honing her technique. One of the most technical women out there on the water. Whitney making quick, easy work of that 32 off pass, really using as little strength as possible, relying all on that finesse and technique that she has out there. Just a beautiful skier to watch on the water, really tall, really powerful athlete. Really focused on her diet and her off-water training. One of the most dedicated skiers you will ever meet out on the water. Really focuses her entire life to skiing. And as you said, brother Jason just coming a quarter buoy shy of skiing here on Lake Ivanhoe, as well as going 3 buoys at 41 off. So an entire family of champions. I'm sure Jason, his wife Whitney, and son Jax all watching on shore, cheering Whitney on here, knowing that she's going to have to throw down a massive performance out there after watching Regina Jaquist scoring a very impressive 1.5 buoys at 41 off.
Well, we are looking forward to as we continue to move through. We have shortened that line length up, and here you go. It is 35 off. Canada's Whitney McClintock now living right here in Orlando, Florida, as she sets down the line. Nice turn at number 1, strong over to number 2. Nice smooth turn at the 2 ball over to number 3, and Whitney McClintock getting all 4 buoys. 35 off. Silky smooth signature action from Whitney McClintock. You know, going back to the her health and training regimen, you talk about an athlete who lives that you are what you eat lifestyle. This girl, you know, maybe has a cheat day twice a year, if.
Never.
And, you know, you look at her, and I follow her through Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all of her social networks, and she's always willing to help others out. You know, she wants, if you're a lady, even if you're a dude, and you want to find out more about what it takes to become a great athlete, help with your diet, help with training. You know, if you haven't been in the gym for a long time, Whitney's got the tips. She'll help you out. She'll help get you back into it. She is absolutely fit. At her age, 26 years old, still so young. I still see so many more years ahead of this young lady as well. Decorated in all 3 events. She's a jumper, she's a tricker, she's a slalom skier. I know that yesterday she was 1 away from making it into the trick final. I know she was a little bit disappointed for that, wanting to get overall scores here. But here we go, bringing her back through 38 off. Should be another easy run here for Whitney McClintock. A little bit of conditions out there, a little bit of wind picking up on Whitney's run. But there you go, making it all the way through, all 4 buoys there for Whitney McClintock. And she's got a big smile on her face. But, Stevie, let's break down this replay.
So as you see, Dano, as you said, the wind picking up a little bit. Whitney getting a little bit down course here at ball number 2. But she is so patient at number 3. Waits for that ski to come around. Waits for that angle. Makes her way over to number 4. Really showing her experience out there. With the conditions constantly changing, Whitney adjusting herself as she went from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, and 3 to 4, willing herself around her buoys, around those buoys. She is a competitor. She is fierce, and she's aimed for that 1.5 buoys that Regina threw down at the 41 off pass, and she knew she needed to get all 4, not only at that 38 off pass, but on this next pass, Dano, coming up, the 39.5 off pass. The pass I've watched her run many, many times up and down the lake. A pass she's very, very capable of running, but never a gimme pass for anybody. So eyes on the water. This pass makes or break it. Whitney McClintock needs to run all 4 buoys out here on Lake Eola to challenge our current leader, Regina Jaquist, for the title here at the 2015 U.S. Open. Whitney McClintock coming down the lake. A nice headwind in her face here for her 39 off pass. Turning in on her gate. Nice move out to number 1. Bit of a delay at number 1, over to 2. Cranks her ski at number 2. She's still in it at 3. Gets around number 3. Just willing her ski outside number 3. Not able to get over to number 4. We will wait on the judges' call for the score on that one. But you just saw Whitney getting a little bit of a delay there at number 1. Able to stay calm, get herself over to number 2. But that line, 39, being so short, not able to get out around all 4 of those buoys. So we'll just wait on the judges' call there. Look to me as if we will be seeing 2 buoys at 39 for Canada's own Whitney McClintock. But unbelievable skiing from all our women as she comes in here. Ladies and gentlemen, give her a hand. Whitney McClintock.
And that's going to do it for your pro women slalom final here at the Nautique U.S. Open 2015. Want to thank all the great folks, sponsors behind the scenes. We'd like to thank the crew from Orlando, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram, as well as our friends at O'Brien Watersports. O'Brien's proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Big Dog World Tour, and equally as proud to have been providing fun on the water since the mid-'60s. O'Brien, setting the standard, breaking world records, providing fun on the water for the entire family since 1964. You can see them on site here, and for those of you watching us online, check them out at O'Brien.com. Well, guys, Stevie Collins, Dano the Mano, the Noise of the North, y'all hang tight. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with our four-man finals in the Big Dog World of Water Skiing, baby. Oh, yeah.